Okay, we have a quorum, and it is 6:04. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Present are Jim Postrel, Betty Harmeyer, Eric Alvarez, Alderman Mech, Alderman Fahrenwald, and myself. And I guess we'll just move right into citizens' concerns. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Hi, good evening.
We're Rafael and Jill Fernandez. We live on 12708 South California, and we are having a major pipe sewer issue. We've had to have a clean out done 3 times. This last time was very recent. It was like about a month ago,
About a month ago.
And the guy came out and he had to go into the sewer system, cut a bunch of the
roots. What's going on is we have a 25-year-old maple. We've been at that house 25, 26 years. This maple tree is in the parkway. The root system is, according to the plumber that recently came out, the root system is almost on top of the drain tiles. It's
already cracked.
It's cracked the drain tile. We've replaced 3-foot section prior already with Decker Construction Company. The plumber is recommending that we cut the tree down before it collapses, the sewer line.
It's the weight of the tree, not the leaves or anything like that.
Right.
It's the weight that is already, this pipe is already cracked.
And in talking to the city department, we understand that the city cuts down trees only in the event of illness and if it's dead. Our tree has an illness, what's called tar.
Yes.
Some kind of leaf
It's
tar.
black spots on the leaves.
But
every year, it comes back with less and less leaves. And
Well, we
when it
understand
comes out, the leaves die right away. I mean, to me, that is an infection. Go ahead.
Well, we see that it's not a fatal disease, so to say. It falls underneath your rules of if it's a diseased tree, technically.
It's just and like I said, the sewer, it's already caused us inside our house and outside our house. And we're just looking to see if you guys can give us the okay to get this done, so they can start working on fixing that pipe. We can't wait till it bursts, and then what? It's our responsibility to fix it, we understand that. But at $20,000 versus maybe 10 right now, I mean, who has that we don't have that kind of money.
And like I said, it's your building department manager said it's a nice tree. Yes, we agree it's a nice tree.
I mean, he sees it from right now. There's no leaves on it.
But if this tree collapses the sewer line, it could possibly collapse the main line further into your responsibility. And that's even worse. At that point, whose tree does it become?
And the guy said it's technically Blue Island's tree. And then we asked him, well, okay, if the worst case scenario happens and this starts busting up the street, whose tree is it then? Is it back at our responsibility or your tree? And there was a long pause, and he's like, well, ma'am, I don't know. I'm gonna have to find out. And of course, he never called us back.
We understand the beautification of Blue Island, trust me. I mean, it's
we don't want to cut it down either.
We don't want to cut it down, but if it's gonna cost $20,000, $30,000 worth of sewer damage.
We don't have it. We don't have it.
I got a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Not a problem.
And I'm just not familiar with the incident, so these are just kind of trying to get a little more information. I don't know whether this is possible, but the city does have a policy, you're correct, that they only cut down diseased or dead trees. And you feel that they are diseased, and I'm in no position to make that judgment sitting here. But if we were to allow you to cut down the tree at your expense, would you do that?
Oh, absolutely. We have no problem doing
Even though it's in your parkway.
Right.
We will bear the expense.
We will bear
the expense of that.
In order to...
So we can get somebody in there to fix it before this crack really messes up.
That would seem reasonable. Without knowing, I don't know what you're telling us, I don't know the
We have the paperwork if you want to call the plumbers who came to our house.
The property is at 12806 South California, and
12806?
yes, and it's right in front of the house. And
I mean, I hate to cut it down myself, but I can't have this risk thinking every day, okay, is it gonna really break today?
Can you give me your phone number, please?
708-925-8487.
8487. Okay, let me find out, under the circumstances, I understand, and I think it would be reasonable for for the city to let you cut the tree down. If you're going to bear the expense of it,
I mean, we don't like it, but if that's the way we can do it, we haven't, that's fine.
I just don't, there may be I don't know, I just don't, the other thing I don't know is what would be the legal mechanism, if you will, that you would.
Well, if the tree is diseased.
I mean, it's got
If it is,
black
yeah.
spots
If
on
the tree
it.
is diseased, usually Blue Island cuts down the
Right.
tree.
Right.
It's in their parkway.
It's, again, if we were told, yes, well, it is diseased, it may not be a fatal disease, so to say, or a terrible disease.
But it is diseased.
But it
I
is
do know,
disease.
I do know what you're talking about, because there's quite a few maples in
Yeah, they
town.
have a black.
And those
Yeah,
might not be
black spot.
causing the issues that they're causing at our property.
Right.
I mean, you know, this has not only happened once, twice. This happened when the Duckers came out to do what they had to do, and then this time, it's just beginning to be unbearable.
Okay, let me contact a couple of people in City Hall, and I will give you a call back, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. Is that
Thank you very
okay?
much.
We thank you for your
Thank
time.
you for your time.
See you later.
Anyone else? No? All right. Public Works, Jim. I'm sorry, Mr. Postral.
In our report,
Nancy?
Excuse me,
Before
I'm
you
sorry.
begin, I just wanted to say thank you very much. You did a great job again, as usual, with the snow removal. And I don't know, I just wanted to make sure I
thank you.
said thank
Yeah, we
you.
got more coming in tomorrow
Yeah, so I hear.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
keep up the great work.
with a
and
deep
you and
freeze
your
behind
guys.
it.
Thank guys and gals. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, went through 5 tons of coal patch the last month. 20 streetlights were repaired, 11 plus were reported to ComEd, which are the wooden poles are the ComEd lights. So most alleys and some streets. 52 20-yard dumpsters of bulk waste. And then we're actually on storm 23. We just finished 23. We're doing the water testing, you know, every first and second Tuesday of the month. We actually just did it today, the second round of testing. And that's about it. Any questions?
Just curious, we've had kind of a mild winter right now, we've had to get out a lot. Is this, I'm just curious, the number of storms that you've treated, 22, is that an unusually high number, or is that kind of what you usually do?
Well, we've had less than last year.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Quite a bit, yeah. So, yeah, the book last year, it was actually a real big binder. This year, it's maybe a third of that right now. So, I know, most people don't know that we're out sometimes. Like this morning, we had a truck out because we had a frost, but it's not considered a storm. It was our first frost. We send out one truck just to cover the bridges. So we had a notification. I think it came in about 11:30 last night. We sent the truck out about 1:30 or so, and he just covers all the bridges, all the overpasses, all the elevated surfaces. So,
Well, I agree with Alderman Rita. Thank you, this tree's
thank
been
you.
good.
Yeah, we have a good team.
Okay, and then, Jim, if you would just talk a little bit about the Meade traffic signal maintenance agreement.
The Meade traffic signal agreement, I know that we just had a renewal. We talked about with them, it's $177 for each. Some are automatic and then some are, I think they have the loop detectors in the street. But they're called out, like when the lights aren't working, they're called out when the light bulb is out. I've had them where the signal got rubbed by a truck and it was off centered where they didn't see it directly where the traffic would see it. So that's a very technical electric to be done is for traffic signals for safety.
Okay, and this is something that
I think the contract actually goes back into the 80s.
okay,
So it's been around for a long time. I did question part of it being that, like, this is an IDOT route, why are we maintaining it? But I guess this
That
is
was gonna be
something.
my question.
This is something that the city has requested and the maintenance has come to the city. So, you know, at one time, going way back, you know.
Would an option be to just let IDOT do it, which probably might be
I don't
an
think it
option.
is an option. I think it's something that, right.
curious.
Yeah, it'd be great, other people's money, sure, you know. But they fall on our responsibility.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I need a motion then to approve the
I have a quick question.
Oh,
So
go
how
ahead.
long is this contract for? It says February, I didn't see the ending date on here, because it does say IDOT standards. Does it, you know? I'm sorry.
You know, it's a service, they, I know when it first began, it was, I can't remember, I don't know the numbers, but I saw that over the, like, the last 20-some years, it's only gone up a few dollars. So,
I was just wondering how long
Yeah.
the agreement was for, because if this is something that that we need to look into for IDOT to take over, I was just wondering how long this contract was for, that's all. Just because it's always been that way, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean
yeah,
we
I understand
have to
that.
continue,
Yeah.
since it's just been brought to our attention.
Yeah,
It does give us the right to terminate at any time.
I did see that, I just
Yeah.
wanted to, I didn't know
I
if we were
just-
locked,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it
No,
on
sure,
here.
that's a reasonable question.
This
Yeah.
is forever.
But we can't, we may suspend.
well, that's what Mead Electric is saying, right?
Anytime.
Yeah, there's only a few companies, I believe, that actually
Okay,
are doing
so if we decide we want to change.
alter it, yeah.
All right, can I get a motion? By Alderman Rita,
I will second.
second by Alderman Fahrenwald.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, and then we've got a handicap parking request for 12501 Highland. I need a motion for that. Alderman Rita, second by Alderman Mech. Only because I was looking that way. All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carried. Okay, the water report, Betty?
Good evening. So I did hand the reports out to you. So we have contractual accounts, payment plans were begun 34. Amount collected from the above accounts is $9,522.34. The home sold with a water balance 10 at $925.47. The city fellows handed out 104 red tags in January. Amount collected from above was $28,585.97. Contracts resulted from the red tags were 13. I had one bankruptcy, and then the offs we had 2 offs. Contracts that were paid off, there were 3 of them this time, $444.52. In response to the letters were 16 at $3,315.19. Total to the city and outstanding water delinquency accounts at this point of what I've read is $42,793.49.
Okay. And Benny, just for the record, I know you're aware of the fact that a lot of water meters were read incorrectly.
I certainly am.
Could you just make a brief statement on what the city is doing about that?
So what we're doing is making an adjustment on the bill. We are rapidly doing this, and a lot of people have come into City Hall, and when they do, I talk with them and work out the adjustment. And in the same token, Linda and Latrice are working on the sheet of that area so that they're going through every one of them and correcting them.
Okay, and it was just one area in the city?
One area and one of the handheld
It was just a
situations.
reader malfunction.
Okay, all right, any questions for Betty? Okay, thank you, Betty.
How did the mayor allow it to happen?
Mr. Jackson?
Good evening.
Hello.
Everyone has a copy of their monthly report. Any questions?
You have something coming up this weekend?
Beg pardon?
Do you have something coming up this weekend at the rec center?
Yes, we do. We have the 4-H Club, who's in affiliation with University of Illinois, Chicago, will be hosting a International Taste Award. You're all invited to come out, to come sample the food from different countries around the world, and we'll have dancing and cultural dancings and things like that there. It was a big event last year, and we're hoping for it to be a bigger one this year.
And that's on Saturday?
Yes, ma'am.
At what time?
Starts at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay? I
Is there a charge?
No, ma'am. Everything's
Free
free.
charge, is there?
It's free.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, it says here it starts at 3?
Yes.
From 3 to 6?
Yeah.
3.
Right.
3 to 6.
Thank you.
Don't want to be there late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you had the proposal from Crawford Roofing,
Beg pardon?
the Crawford Roofing proposal?
Yes.
you
Crawford
sent
Roofing
out?
proposal, it is different from what they submitted back earlier last year, back in June. However, the price has gone down. And as we stated earlier, Madam Chairman, it is something that we definitely need. If not, they're going to void the roofing contracts. If something major happened, we're going to pay a big amount of money for it to repair. So it's to our advantage to get on a maintenance contract with Crawford. Also, same thing with Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning, who's installed the heating units on top of the roof. Annual contract with them.
Okay, did you send us a contract for
No,
Bob's?
Bob at the time had sent one, but he didn't complete it, so I didn't forward it for
Okay,
him.
all right.
He's making some adjustments.
All right.
And the, regarding the sign that was damaged by the youth, we have forwarded that to the finance department for approval to get repaired, and then the bill will be forwarded to the kids' parents who tore the sign down.
Okay. All right, good. I'm glad we got that settled. Any questions? No? No?
Oh, and thank you for the snowball. It came in handy.
We'll need it tomorrow, I think.
We need a motion to approve the Crawford Roofing.
It's under finance for the city council meeting.
I know. That's
Yeah, I
what-
was going to ask that, how come it's under finance?
They've probably seen it already.
then
My
they sent it
understanding
to
is that it was originally approved back in June, but with all the turnover and the computers going down and everything, it kind of got lost, and so Crawford sent a new one out. But
Okay, thank you. So
Okay.
we need to take a vote?
we should take a vote. Need a motion? Alderman Fahrenwald, Alderman Mech. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Ted Ruthenberg is not here. Mr. Alvarez.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Oh, I think I missed a couple of you all with these handouts.
Oh, thank you.
Did I get one?
I think so, Alderman. Here, I got extras.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have an update on our ongoing and future projects. Three things for tonight, actually. Update on our ongoing and future projects, an overview of a project application for changing Western Avenue from one-way to two-way in between Gregory Street and 127th Street, and our 2020 project selection for our community development block grant application for roadway projects through the county. So I'll just quickly update. This is basically an update on all our projects. I'm not going to go through it all. In interest of time, just want to point out some of the major points. Pipelining will start next week on Grove Street and Canal Street. So that's an underground project. For our 2020 projects, the Western Avenue South Bridge replacement is, preliminary work will begin in the spring. Our next step is to review the bid prices and to go ahead with the scope of work or pull it back as we see fit. The old Western Avenue resurfacing project was awarded to Gallagher Asphalt for $197,000. That's an IDOT funded project, and that will be spring and summer construction. The Dunkin' Donuts parking lot investigation, art drilling investigation is completed. The next step will be the cost estimate and repair recommendations. And then, as long as it's okay with, unless you all had specific questions about the ongoing projects, we could then move to Western Avenue 2A and CDBG.
I have just one quick one. I think
Yes, Alderman?
I think we've asked it before, but on the Western Avenue Bridge project, are we beyond the point, they're going to replace the sidewalk pretty much as it stands, right? I mean, it'll look a lot like it does now.
They are reconfiguring it somewhat, so I know they're adding bike lanes, and I'm not sure, because right now it's guardrail and then sidewalk, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure exactly on the configuration there. I know they're redoing it, but they're only redoing the actual south approach.
Right.
So I think it's roughly going to stay the same.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, that's fine, thanks.
Sure. Okay, so if it's all right with you, I'm going to move straight on to the Western Avenue 2A. So what this basically is right, I mean, you all know this, but right now Western Avenue goes, Western Avenue is only one way, and Gregory Street handles the northbound traffic. So maybe, let me see, sorry, forgetting the dates. So roughly 10 years ago, there was a study done to reconfigure Western Avenue to two-way traffic to kind of pull all that downtown traffic back to Western Avenue where it gets in front of all the businesses and kind of revitalize uptown a little bit. And that's what this is really about. So right now, the Southwest Conference of Mayors, which is the regional council that Blue Island is in, has a call for surface transportation funded projects. And that's basically, long story short, federal money. These projects are, bigger than city projects. So we pull in federal money. The application period is right now. And so what we're looking to do is to apply for federal funding to fund this project, phase 1 study. So there's been a preliminary study done. The next step in a project like this is called preliminary engineering. With a project of this complexity, that will likely be at least a 1-year process, more likely probably 2 years, with construction between 5 and 10 years away. But with projects of this size and complexity, we got to keep them going. So what we're proposing to do is apply for funding from the federal government. That would cover 80% of the project phase 1 study, which is roughly $1 million. The city share would be 20% of that, and then that could be funded through a combination of the TIFs and business districts. So there's a number of things we need to get ready to apply. We're going to bring this forward to all the committees, and kind of the application costs and information gathering, number 1, are minimal, and number 2, are very time constrained. So we're kind of doing all this stuff concurrently, but this is sort of my introduction to you on it. There's a little packet here which breaks down all this stuff I've been talking about in greater detail. It has some maps and traffic counts, and I think probably best is there's been some renderings done on what this would actually look like, and so you can kind of get a better idea of how it would look reconfigured. And yeah, that's the long and short of it. If you all have any questions on that? Yes, Alderman.
So how much is this going to cost the city
So
approximately?
if this gets approved for federal funding, and all we'd be doing right now is applying for that funding. If this gets approved for federal funding, they're 80-20 splits, so it's 80% federal and 20% local.
Right.
A lot of times IDOT, when their IDOT traffic signals, which they will be along Western Avenue, will kick in a part of the project cost on the state legs. But just to keep it simple right now, assume it's roughly a $1 million phase 1.
Wait, excuse me 1 second.
Yes, yes,
Did
ma'am.
you say traffic signal?
Yes.
Okay, because we just approved the traffic signal.
No,
That was part of IDOT's, but we're taking
No.
on
we approved maintenance,
the maintenance, but
but
still.
not replacing.
Okay,
That would be, IDOT would
put it.
would replace it.
Right, I didn't want to butt in when you all were talking about maintenance of traffic signals, but the way it typically works, and you can negotiate with the state during construction, but the way it typically works, 99% of the time, the way I've seen it work is, unless it's like an expressway ramp or something like that, maintenance of traffic signals will almost always fall on the local municipal government,
Okay,
even if they're state signals.
thank you.
Okay.
So getting back-
So, sorry, getting back, sorry, getting back, the phase one of the project would roughly cost $1 million. The federal government, the Federal Highway Administration would fund 80% of that. IDOT would likely kick in some percentage of that, but just to keep it simple right now, let's assume the city's share would be roughly $200,000.
If we don't, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
And if we do not get federal funding approval, the project would not go forward, or you would come back to discuss what the next step is?
Alderman, what I would recommend is if we apply for this, it's going to go in a queue for the Transportation Improvement Program, and that's like through the Regional Council. If the project didn't get approved, it would get put in that queue.
Okay.
And the way, it's a little bit complicated, but we'd basically go in the queue, hopefully to move up as other projects either get completed or fall off the list due to inactivity.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay? The only reason, sorry, wait, that's ancient history. Anyway.
The only reason why.
No, the reason why we have to redo this is because the Southwest Conference of Mayors and CMAP, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, have redone the way they do the Transportation Improvement Program. So this project was actually already in their queue, but they changed the way they're organizing their projects, so we have to reapply. Sorry, that was too much information.
That's okay, no,
Okay.
that helps.
Any additional questions, Alderman?
So we're down here under number 5A. This is us here, Municipal Services, February 11th. So that's where we're at in this process till tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then the very last thing I wanted to talk to you all about was, I'm not sure how this is going to translate to our new format here, but I was hoping we could select a project, or at least a couple of roadways for us to look into. I would prefer to just look into one for CDBG grant application for next year. Got a map, which I can bring over to y'all. This is the same as last year, if you'll remember it.
Yes, we
I
do.
remember, there's a lot of red lights on there.
So what we did last year was we selected Collins Street, and so Collins Street will get constructed in the spring.
I'm sorry,
And-
pink is the worst?
Pink is the worst, yes, exactly, Alderman. Last year we selected Collins Street. Collins Street will get constructed in the spring, and this application is for a project that would get constructed, so it's a 2020 application for a project that would be constructed in 2021.
Okay, so here's Collins Street here.
Yeah, that's what's getting done this year.
So that's what, and we're already getting Edison done, not through CDBG, but we're doing Edison
Right.
and Francisco.
And let me show you, Alderman,
So that's already being done.
CDBG eligible blocks in the city
Okay.
are shown in yellow here. So for this grant, we have to stick to the
To the yellow.
to the yellow.
Okay.
Oh,
We can't go to the pink?
Not yellow
Yellow's in-
streets, like this yellow
Inferior.
shading, like this big section of the city, like all this out here. So like, for instance, we can't, through
We
the
can't-
city,
we
CDBG,
can't go
do this block of
Okay,
Collins. You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Do you want me to talk in the microphone, or can I just talk up here to you all? Is it okay? Okay.
You could use that microphone.
Okay, so we usually estimate for these CDBG grants, we usually get on the order of $200,000, which gets us roughly 2 blocks of resurfacing when the city kicks in a local match, which is what we always recommend because the local match helps strengthen our application for project selection. So, I mean, basically, at the end of the day, that translates to, we're going to try and do a street that's in really bad shape. It's going to cost roughly $225 a foot. It translates to, like, let's pick 2 blocks. They don't have to be connected. It helps if they're like extremely geographically close or connected for economy. You know, you don't want to do one here and one down here because everybody, then the contractor has to remobilize all their equipment. But, yeah, so anyway. So like, for instance, I would like, so we did Collins Street down here. I don't know if we want to move somewhere geographically.
So I will
Or-
say, that was in my ward, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Probably should move to another ward.
Right, I mean,
Right?
right.
Just to be fair,
The fifth ward is
it's pretty bad.
horrible. From the north side, east of Western, all the way to the west side of Western.
Right. So those are like,
is this?
This is York Street.
so that's like,
Horrible there. I thought I was gonna lose my.
I like it too, it's right on,
I would think you would, I mean,
What?
there's so many
Felt like I
horrible
was
streets that,
Four-wheeling.
is there a way of then kind of prioritizing by heaviest use, or, I mean, there's so many really bad streets, I mean, you just like throw a dart at the wall and pick one. So what else can we do to kind of narrow it down, like most heavily traveled, most
Yeah.
accidents, most, I don't know what, something where we could just, hey, this has got a real problem here, as opposed to one that just that is bad, but isn't as bad as.
right, Alderman.
This street here, that's York, that's the one I was talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it used a lot because of the schools over there, or no?
I personally think prioritizing them in front of the schools makes a lot of sense, especially because a lot of times we'll do safety improvements as we go, like, for instance, you know, putting up new stop signs, restriping all the stop bars. So, yes, in my opinion, like York Street would be a good candidate due to the proximity to the school there. But Alderman Fahrenwald, to answer your question, so we are working right now with CMAP, like Jim and I are working right now with CMAP on a pavement management plan that's going to give us a more quantitative way to, in the future, program our street maintenance, but it's still in the works.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And anyway, with regards to
And when do
York
we
Street,
need to make this decision?
This is Fulton.
tonight
Now?
would be great.
Okay, well, let's get the dartboard out.
This is 127th Street here. These are all in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, that actually is pretty good over there. It'd be nice.
This is Third Ward, right here, right?
Gonna fail my geography
Yeah,
test here.
Pretty much, I think.
yeah, pretty
I
much.
can't. Union High, yeah, they're
You
all
don't-
pretty good.
yeah, they're all
My
pretty
mom's
good.
on.
Grove where?
What about over here?
I was gonna say, what is this?
So I
119th place is pretty bad.
love the idea of doing
Artesian.
119th place. It is in,
Yeah.
it is in, it could use some serious love.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could.
Okay, we have 3 people voting for 119th place?
I'll go with it.
I vote.
Okay. We're gonna go with 119th
I'm
place.
100% on board with that.
All right,
too.
good. There we go.
Great, okay.
We made
But I
up,
look forward to
Well, I
seeing
tried
those.
for York.
I like
I
your
really-
119th is
But Eric, I'm very glad that you're doing that prioritization for us, because in the future, I would rather make it on a, I mean, that's a good decision, I can't argue with that, but I think there's some information.
And I think it's also important, like, you know, doing it on a quantitative basis, we can kind of, we can do it as economically as possible too, you know? Right. I mean, as a city, obviously, we're gonna do the project as economically as we can, but as far as programming, maintenance in the future for the city, we can do it with mind for the best economy. Okay, and that's all I got.
that's all you have? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yours, breakfast.
Yes, but we can't go together.
Any other questions for Eric? Any alderman concerns? Going once, going twice? Okay.
Okay, thank you again.
Need a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Rita and Fahrenwald, all in favor of adjourning? Aye. Okay, it is 6:38, let's call it. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, you're